play thanks to the folks at the Good Feet store today. Walk in on 28th Street, right in front of Costco, or in Portage on Westnedge in front of Kohl's, and see what I've been talking about for years now. You're going to love how you feel with the Good Feet store.
You're listening to News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM. Live from high atop Monroe Center in downtown Grand Rapids, we're talking about what matters most to you in West Michigan. Join the conversation now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on Wood Radio.
Welcome in, folks. A free-for-all Friday underway, and that means you get to join the program, too. And we'd love to hear from you each and every week. So listen, let me give you the number, and then you can jump in. We'll talk about whatever we're talking about on topic, or even switch the topic at some point. 616-774-2424. We're getting into the Michigan governor's race here. The 2026 election, things are progressing. We got word out of Iran, maybe a deal this weekend. We'll have of course, we've heard that before. Have that story, and probably the biggest, the arrests have started. Hang on!
News, weather, and traffic. And the biggest stories of the day. We're talking about what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three. Now today's Big Three.
Yeah, the stories that matter most. Should be talking about these around the water cooler, the dinner table, no matter where you are. Our Big Three, powered by our good friends Dave Galloway and the team at Heartland Home Mortgage, HHMLending.com. Listen, we've done all three. We bought our home, we refinanced when the rates got even lower, and then we did a home equity line of credit. And whether you want to consolidate some credit card debt, like right now, probably a good time to look at that, especially if you got it, because it could be draining your wallet, right? Or maybe it's time to do some improvements because you got such a great rate, right? Dave and the team ready to help you no matter what it is that you're looking to do. HHMLending.com.
Number one.
Slight progress. Secretary of State Marco Rubio calling it. Well, yesterday we heard they had a deal, and we thought maybe even within the afternoon we'd hear an announcement. President Trump sneakily sort of hinting at something, and we'll get into what he said a little bit later on. But there has been some slight progress. Secretary of State saying, I don't want to exaggerate it, but there's a little bit of movement, and that's good. Markets responded yesterday to some of that news. We'll tell you what that means coming up.
Number two.
The Senate has left. They've adjourned for Memorial Day recess. Lawmakers wrapping up business, leaving Washington without resolving, any of the key issues on funding disputes, including a stalled reconciliation package for immigration priorities and Department of Homeland Security issues. Those are Trump priorities. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that Trump endorsed against Thune's Buddy Cornyn over in Texas. They'll return after the holiday. They'll have some sessions there in the interim, a couple of pro forma, but that is few and far between. Dug it out, though, in Detroit, the former mayor running for governor here in Michigan is out of the race. He named all kinds of different excuses during his statement. He cited trailing polls. He's down 11 points. He said that we've been down further before. Weak fundraising, maybe the biggest issue. Couldn't find anybody give him any money. All the money going to the major parties, he said, in a polarized national climate. He blamed gas prices, President Trump, you name it. At the end of the day, this guy was never a player, and that's probably the real truth. So what happens now? What happens next? You're left between Crazy Eyes Jocelyn Benson, who if you look at her at any given moment, she had a really bad showing earlier this week at the UAW. In fact, I want to talk about that and a few more of those pieces. What happens with Republicans? How does this race shape up from here? Our good friend Kyle Olson joining us from the Midwesterner, the Midwesterner.news, and you too.
Call Justin now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Yeah, I probably should mention this as well. The massive news of the day because folks have been wondering, where are the arrests? Where are the arrests? Well, we got 15 indictments in the Minnesota Leering Center scams that are going on, and that, of course, that mastermind of it. She didn't work by herself. I think she got like 40 years or something. So the fraud arrest, 15 indicted in Minnesota. We'll dig into that as well coming up. Kyle Olson with us now. Good morning, Kyle.
Good morning.
Massive shakeup. I don't think it could be overstated. I mean, it really is a big one in this race that I think lots of people, including the Republicans and the Democrats, are sort of planning on this third party independent. And boy, they dumped a ton of money in early. I thought this guy would be in. If he did get out, I mean, the timing seems a little weird. A lot of people just thought that maybe he'd get out a little further down the road. What's your take on all of this as you're watching it?
Yeah, it was very surprising, especially because at 10 a.m. he put out a press release saying that that he had another union endorsement, and then less than 1 hour later, he just pulled the plug. And apparently staff didn't know until the press release went out, and the whole thing was very strange. And I see, there's some people that think this is a great development and are claiming credit and everything else. But the reality is, you look at the polling and you say, okay, where would the Duggan voters have likely come from? Well, the fact that he was a Kamala Harris delegate, he has his picture with every Democrat you can possibly imagine. The guy is through and through a Democrat, which would have been very easy to explain to voters, which means his support would have come from Democrats. Well, then where is his support going to go? Probably to Jocelyn Benson. So this makes it, I think, much harder for the Republicans, which obviously, it's a very contested primary at this point. But it makes it very hard for Republicans. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this all develops over the next several weeks. Of course, voting starts in roughly 1 month, believe it or not, with absentee ballots. But Benson, I think, comes out the big winner. And because the other thing, too, is you look at how the Democratic Party has been handling this race, and they have been focusing almost exclusively on tearing down Duggan and attempting to make the claim that he is supported by, Trump supporters and is being funded by Republicans and all of that. And they have been focusing almost exclusively on Duggan. Well, they don't have to do that anymore. And so now they're going to be turning their sights on Republicans, which I think makes it even more difficult for them.
It is going to be a different race. That is for sure. And, the one thing that you and I have talked about this before, but the whole trying to game plan any of this is trying to figure out where people are going to be, where we're all going to be coming up in November. I mean, I think it'll be a different world from here to November. Things change so quickly now. Look how quickly this announcement came yesterday. I think it'll be a different world by the time we get to the primary in August. So the question is, who becomes the Republican nominee? It really looks like Jocelyn Benson will be the Democrat nominee, barring some sort of major act of God or something else. I mean, that's just a foregone conclusion, I think, for everyone. But what happens next? Where do we go from here? And the reason why we sit and we talk about these things is because this election matters. In 2026, I think it's just as important, maybe even more important in Michigan, this election, where we were for the nation in 2024. And you saw the consequences that election has had. And we'll dig into some more of those coming up here. But 15 indictments in Minnesota, just to mention some of the fraud arrests that are occurring and some of the other issues that we see that are coming out of it. I mean, even today, and there's a laundry list of things that we can go through that we've seen massive movement since the president's been in office. And I can't even imagine where we'd be today if it was Kamala Harris. But these are the big distinctions. It's no longer the question anymore, and it's at a state level too, of whether or not, you disagree with, how we fund certain things, or should the Democrats think that should we pay just a little bit more in taxes and the Republicans think not. I mean, we're talking about massive differences one party doesn't ever think that the country was ever great, and essentially wants to see it torn down and rebuilt from the ground up. And then the Republican Party is the party of truth, logic, and common sense to say, look, let's get back to doing the things the right way, the things that matter. We can get things back on track. Not only does it matter for the country, but that matters for us in Michigan because there's so much potential. But we've seen how bad it's been, how squandered it's been over the last nearly 10 years under Whitmer, Nessel, and Benson.
Right, and they have used Michigan taxpayer money to buy votes, to pay people off. I spoke to someone in Metro Detroit just the other day who said, "I have one of these learning centers in my neighborhood," meaning one of these massive nonprofits that doesn't actually do anything, that's been getting Michigan taxpayer dollars. So what is happening in Minnesota, I believe absolutely is happening in Michigan, and it deserves investigation. Obviously, Dana Nessel is not going to do that, so it's going to require federal investigation. We'll have to wait and see if that actually happens. But you touched on the Republican race, and the other big news this week, I think, was that the Board of Elections, which reviews the petitions and then makes a recommendation to the Board of Canvassers. They considered the complaints against both John James and Perry Johnson and basically, dismissed the allegations and recommended both of those candidates be on the ballot, that their petitions be accepted and they appear on the August ballot. Ralph Rebant was the only one that they concluded or their opinion is that his petitions are not sufficient. And one of the problems that he had, I think, was you take Perry Johnson and John James, and they both submitted nearly 30,000 signatures. The minimum is 15,000, which then obviously means they had a pretty big cushion. So if there were bad signatures that were knocked off, they still had enough. Ralph Rebant, he submitted roughly 18,000, which meant he had, a roughly 3,000 signature cushion. And based on the sample that they did, they concluded that he did not have enough signatures. So the process that he can follow now is, because basically what they do is they'll take a sample of 750, and then they sort of say, okay, if 75% of those are good, then 75% of all of your signatures are good. So then that puts him in the position where he can challenge that, which of course he has to do in court, which costs money. But that's where that stands. And that Board of Canvassers meeting will take place on the 28th next week.
We talked about this yesterday with Ralph. And let me ask you, this process to me, again, there's another race, another election where we've got signature shenanigans. I understand that you've got to have some sort of process and some sort of bar so that you can have, some order in everything. But does this, the way we do this in Michigan, does this need to be looked at a little bit closer?
I think it should. I mean, it definitely, it's not just a matter of going out and collecting 15,000 signatures. It's such a technical, complicated process. The petition has to be a certain size, and there has to be a certain font, and you've got to have a date of when the term starts, which can be confusing. And there's just a lot of information that is required to be on there. And if you miss one little step, the whole thing can be thrown out.
Yeah.
And it's almost like this game of gotcha. Yeah. And I think that has to be addressed. Whether it should be 15,000 signatures or 5,000 or whatever, I don't know. But we created this scenario where you've got to you have to spend a whole bunch of money hiring professional signature collectors who then are verifying them and all of that. And it's become very expensive.
And let me ask, because the Democrats never seem to end up on the other or the wrong end of this. Do they have access to resources under a Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, that Republicans don't?
Well, I think that's entirely possible, but also just big picture here. Look at what happened. The Republicans were filing complaints against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Who filed a complaint against Jocelyn Benson? Nobody. Why? I don't know.
Why not? Why not is the question. Why not?
Right.
Well,
but
these mysteries and more.
That's the way it's been.
Kyle Olson is the founder of the Midwesterner, the Midwesterner.news. What are you guys working on in the next coming week or so?
Well, obviously, it seems like that. It seems like the board of canvassers meeting is, probably. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We'll be watching that. I did an interview with Karen Weaver, who is the former Flint mayor, about allegations against Jocelyn Benson. When I did the interview, she was supporting Mike Duggan. And obviously that's changed now.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of concerns amongst Black voters about Jocelyn Benson because of allegations of voter fraud in Flint, which she just ignored. Allegations of discrimination in the Secretary of State's office, which she has said nothing about. And then, of course, the Southern Poverty Law Center, when Jocelyn Benson was on the board,
right,
and they were funding white supremacist groups and all of that, and she said nothing about that.
Interesting trail ahead, I believe. We'll keep our eye on all of it for you, my good friend. Kyle Olson, the Midwesterner, the Midwesterner.news. Thank you, my friend, and enjoy your Memorial Day weekend as we honor those.
Thank you, you too.
Who paid the ultimate sacrifice. We'll do just that. And, we got more updates. Don't go anywhere. The latest, you won't want to miss it right after this on West Michigan Live.
Negotiable. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Friday, May 22nd. I'm Robin Poffman. Former Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan says he's ending his independent campaign for governor. The surprise announcement coming on the same day as the campaign announced a new union endorsement less than an hour before. Duggan posting a note on his campaign website saying he's decided to withdraw from the race due to dropping behind the Democrat candidates by 11 points in recent polls, a lack of national fundraising support, and not wanting to be a spoiler candidate. Now, as for the other candidates still in the all-important race, Secretary of State Democrat Jocelyn Benson running her own election for governor. She's currently the front runner. As for Republicans who are running, they include U.S. Representative John James, former Michigan Attorney General Mike Cox, and billionaire Perry Johnson. And President Trump standing firm on his position that Iran will not be able to have a nuke.
We're going to get it one way or the other. They're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Big utilities. As Attorney General, Mike Cox beat them all, saving Michigan seniors and taxpayers billions. As governor, Mike Cox will take the fight to wrap.
All right, folks, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us today on the Free-for-All Friday, Freedom Fan Friday. Let me say good morning to a few folks behind the scenes live stream over on the VIP's local stream right now. Hammy, Michigan, Joe, good to see you. Dina, Critter, good to see you too. Thank you so much for all of your support, folks. We really appreciate you. Patriot Dean, another lifer. Thank you, guys. And checking the rumbles. Rumble. SJ, Beasley, L. Waldron, Jen Lynn. Thank you, History Diggers. Thank you guys for hanging out. Schmalzy Duga Tennisel, Nate, and Gary. Did I miss anybody? Jay Zalzman. Thank you. On the book, Terry, good to see you. Thank you, Bunny. Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much. Michelle, Bruce, Tammy. Thank you, guys. Joanne, Sherry. And over on the tube, we got tubers watching and folks on X2, so drop your name and where you're watching from. Love to hear from you. John, always a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's a good idea. We always love talking to Charlie LaDuff. Terry, he's a good guy. All right, stand by for news. Dun, 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 bum, bum, bum. All right, stand by. Here we go. Got to get back on the air real quick. And then we got housing market update. We've got lots of number. In fact, we got some really good news we're going to get to coming up today, too, as we roll it on right through. Hang on, folks.
We created our own podcast called Hey Jonas.
We invented a podcast?
Well, we didn't invent it. We just contributed to it.
We're the first people to do podcasts. We get to ask other people questions because we're sick and tired of being asked questions.
Well, sick and tired is a strong way to put it, but,
tired and sick.
Tired and sick.
Listen to Hey Jonas on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow Hey Jonas and start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
Setwood Radio is a preset now on our iHeartRadio app. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto accident attorneys. Visit autolaw.com.
That's autolaw.com.
Got some audio from Secretary Rubio speaking on the NATO alliance at the summit. We'll check in with that after the break. And, of course, we'll hear from you. It is a free-for-all Friday. You can jump in on the program at any time. Our good friend Kevin Yoder has an update on the housing market, and it's actually good news for some of you. I think you're going to like to hear it. By the way, we'll also get the open right now. Dow Futures up 439 points. NASDAQ's up, S&P's up. Oil is down. Part of that possible deal we're hearing about that could be coming our way this weekend. So we'll see whether or not that actually shakes out. In the meantime, enjoy it.
Tackling the hot button issues with style. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Yeah, the folks helping you through that roller coaster ride, whether the market's up or down, no matter where it is, are the good friends Mike Lester and the team at Talent Wealth. GuardingYourNestEgg.com. If you haven't reached out already, call 616-661-1000. That's 616-661-1000. It's Mike and the team. Want to make sure you get to where you go when you want to get there. And you can when you go to guardingyournestegg.com. But do it today.
Hi, I'm Congressman John Molinar. Although the crisis at the southern border is coming to an end, thanks to President Trump's policies, there's still more work to do. That's why I supported legislation that makes historic investments.
All right. Full speed ahead here, folks. Stand by. Ba-da-da-dum. All right. What are you up to this weekend? I'm just curious. You know me. I mean, I don't have any massive plans. I will tell you that we're certainly going to be doing some Memorial Day getting together with the family and things like that. This weekend, I'll remind you in case you haven't heard yet, or maybe you haven't made your plans, put us on the calendar. Sunday, 3 services at New Chapel, newchapel.com. I've got a message I'll be preaching, and of course, I want to share it with you. And If you and I have never met, it's a great time for you to come out, a chance for us to meet up with each other and have a great conversation with each other. But also, if we have met, it's a good chance to come out and say hey, and of course, just reconnect. Always love getting an opportunity to do that. And like I said, I got a really good message for you this weekend. So I'd love to see you. Newchapel.com. It's 4 Mile right off of Alpine. 4 Mile right off of Alpine. And love to see you. Brian's going to the USS Silversides in Muskegon. Very cool. Bonnie's attending a wedding that's got some yard work to do. When you're done, I've got some. I know Gritter has some yard work he needs help with too. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Graduation party, Tammy says. That's nice. Breezeway Yard Sale in East Jordan, 26 miles of true Northern Michigan Community Yard Sale. I've heard of that before. I've never been there. Hanging out in the pool, smoking some chicken, Rhonda says. That and pork. That sounds amazing. Oh, Sherry, I forgot. I saw that yesterday and I wanted to get to that too, the news. Hang on. I'll probably have to mention that on the air too. I want to make sure people hear it because it was such a big effort. And even though they came close, gosh, didn't quite get it, but I don't think it's dead. I really think the needle has been moved quite a bit. And more people are talking about this than ever before. So I wouldn't count that out at all. And I know you're not. But I just want you to know that I think it's made a massive move. All right, stand by, folks. Full speed ahead. Hang on. Let me check on Kevin. Kevin, where are you? I don't see our friend Kevin here. No live stream, John, but you never know. I might be able to get a video to you at some point. Am I looking to become a preacher? No, I think that's something you're called to do. But I will tell you, April, I think I'm doing what I'm called to do. And I'll leave it with that. And then, if it ever changes, I go where God wants me to go. But at the end of the day, this is where I'm supposed to be. Stand by. All right, folks. Hang on, let's move that. And then that works. We got some Marco Rubio. I can play for you just a little bit while we wait. Got about a minute left. He's speaking outside the NATO summit today.
Where could a conflict emerge? Are we properly postured and so forth? And so this is always the work. Every Department of War, every Pentagon, over every administration has constantly had to reevaluate these things. And so, we'll continue to reevaluate. That's been an ongoing process. It started from the first day of this administration and throughout it in coordination with NATO countries. So none of this is surprising, although, obviously I understand why it creates some, nervousness. But I think there's a broad recognition that there are going to be eventually less U.S. troops in Europe than there has historically been, for a variety of reasons. In fact, there was a surge after for example, the movement of troops from Germany that was announced a week ago. The Germans didn't freak out about it because they knew it just took us back to the 2022 numbers, and it was, I think, a reduction of less than 11 or 12% of our total presence there. And understand sometimes when these numbers come out, these aren't just people with guns. These are support staff. I mean, there's all kinds of other things. These aren't just fighters.
All right, hang on.
Agency, one powerful platform. All your policies in one place. Go to supersure.com. That's supersure.com.
Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and you're listening to West Michigan Live with our good friend, Justin Barclay. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
Marco Rubio, Secretary of State right now, is speaking at outside of the NATO summit. Couple of things that are making headlines and highlights so far. Iran, obviously, at the top of conversation, but we're also hearing about troops being removed from Germany. You know, I think they said 5,000 will be moved into Poland in the next year or so.
System in an international waterway. That's just not acceptable. It can't happen. If that were to happen in the Straits of Hormuz, it will happen in 5 other places around the world. Why would countries all over the world say, well, we want to do this too? Not to mention how vital and critical that strait is to every country represented here today, but frankly to countries not represented here today, particularly the Indo-Pacific. So we'll have a good meeting today. I hope it'll be productive. I expect it will be, and it'll set the groundwork for the polling system in
That is Marco. Right before he went in, he is now speaking outside of that meeting after it concluded, and some of the highlights we'll probably bring you coming up here in just a minute. This is a whole nother story, but it is one that just won't go away. It's the second tranche now. The second tranche of UFO files that have come out. An F-16 fighter engaging a UFO. And the footage is pretty incredible. It's you got it on camera. The second tranche now live at war.gov/UFO. And I'll just make the note of this. This thing has gone very similarly as I thought it would. I said, things are so crazy right now before they really started releasing this stuff. Things are so crazy right now that big stories that would have been massive before, they don't really seem to move the needle much at all. So you've got the government going, hey, yeah, there are UFOs. We don't know what some of these things are. And some of the files are just downright wild. And I don't think people really care that much. They don't seem to, I really think a flying saucer, the Martians, the little green men, did they blow it up in that video? That's incredible. Oh, I think the little green man could land on the White House lawn. And I'd be perfectly honest with you. I don't think folks would give it a second chance. Or I don't think it'd give it a second thought. I just, that's sort of the world that we're living in right now. Anyway, 616-774-2424, Free for All Friday coming up. We're going to get the housing market updates, particularly in West Michigan. Got some good news for some of the folks. And then paying attention to some of this. And Marco Rubio speaking live.
Play a role in making that happen. The president is very much
we'll bring you some of that to you now here.
Over the last few months, just sort of sense that there wasn't a lot of progress being made, but maybe dynamics will change. And if they do, we stand ready to play whatever constructive role we can play. If someone else would like to handle it, they should. But it doesn't appear to be anybody else in the world right now that can handle it. So we're more than happy to do that if the opportunity presents itself to have constructive and productive talks. We're also not interested in getting involved in an endless cycle of meetings that lead to nothing. Okay.
Very quickly. Yeah, I appreciate that. Very quickly.
And then I got to go.
The president said that 5,000 troops will be going to Poland. Can you please clarify where will they be coming from? And separately,
they're coming from America. They're Americans. You mean specifically where? Mm-hmm. I'll leave the details on that to the Department of War to announce how these
5 additional. 5,
yeah, but in fairness, I'll leave it to the Pentagon to tell you the specifics of how logistically that's going to work. That's not my place to answer.
Let me ask you something you can respond. Can I get your reaction to recent increasing Russian campaign targeting Baltic countries?
Well, it's concerning. I mean, you always worry about escalation, right? You always worry about that. We understand, these countries feel threatened by it, obviously, for obvious reasons. So it's a concerning thing because you always worry that something like that can spark into something bigger. And that's always a possibility. And so we're concerned about it. We're watching it carefully. We're obviously engaged with our allies in NATO on that regard in terms of what's happening, and we keep up to date. But the underlying response to your question is we're concerned about it because we don't want it to lead to some broader conflict that can really lead to something far worse.
The Iranians today said, Mr. Secretary, that there's some forward movement.
I said the same thing. I can't believe I said the same thing that the Iranians did. There's been some progress. I wouldn't exaggerate it. I wouldn't diminish it. There's more work to be done, but look, there's been some, and that's a good sign. I'm glad they said that. We're not there yet. I hope we get there. The president would prefer to do a good deal. But you asked me if I'm optimistic. I don't characterize it as optimistic or pessimistic. We're going to respond based on the facts as we see them and as they emerge. So what the president has outlined as his priorities are clear. Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. The issue of highly enriched uranium has to be discussed. Its disposition has to be dealt with. And of course, the issue of future enrichment has to be dealt with as well. Those are the core pillars of any sort of agreement, in addition to opening the straits, of course. So I think there's been some progress, but we're not there yet. And hopefully that'll change. It may not. Honestly, it may not. We're dealing with a very difficult group of people. And if it doesn't change, then the president's been clear. He has other options. He prefers the negotiated option and having a good deal, but he himself has expressed, concern that maybe that's not possible. But we're going to keep trying. I know our guys are still working on that very hard. So,
Secretary of State Marco Rubio, they're outside of NATO. That's happening live now as we speak. And of course, the latest update, they say there is good news there. And he really, he said, I wouldn't exaggerate it. I wouldn't diminish it. He really walked a tightrope on that one. Meanwhile, the markets are reacting since yesterday. Again, another word that there's a possibility they could have a deal and it could be reached this weekend. There's something Trump said. In fact, we'll get into that, whether it's today or during the after show here in just a little. Fastest hour on radio flying by. There's something he said that makes folks think, again, wait a minute, what's that about his big plans for the weekend? We'll explain that coming up in a little bit. And the good news inside the housing market in West Michigan specifically, our good friend Kevin Yoder joins us coming up in just a moment. So you won't want to miss that. We'll have that coming up for you in just a moment.
Call Justin now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM. FYI, like literally, it's West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Friday, May 22nd. I'm Robin Poffman. Former Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan says he's ending his independent campaign for governor. The surprise announcement coming on the same day as the campaign announced a new union endorsement less than an hour before. Duggan posting a note on his campaign website saying he's decided to withdraw from the race due to dropping behind the Democrat candidates by 11 points in recent polls, a lack of national fundraising support, and not wanting to be a spoiler candidate. Now, as for the other candidates still in the all-important race, Secretary of State Democrat Jocelyn Benson running her own election for governor. She's currently the front-runner. As for Republicans who are running, they include U.S. Representative John James, former Michigan Attorney General Mike Cox, and billionaire Perry Johnson. And President Trump standing firm on his position that Iran will not be able to have a nuke.
We're going to get it one way or the other. They're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Hi, I'm Congressman John Molinar. As the chairman of the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist.
All right, welcome in, folks. We're rolling full speed ahead. My good friend Kevin joining us right now. Kevin Yoder. Hang on, let me pull him up real quick if I can. Kevin, good morning. How are you, man?
Good morning, Justin. I'm doing great, man. Happy Memorial Day soon-to-be weekend to you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. You sound good. We're going to make you look even better here in just a moment. Can we angle your camera down just a little bit?
Oh, you don't want to get the whole ceiling in there? I don't know why.
I just want, there you go. I want
It's
you
a
to
great look. I mean, everyone
even.
wants to see 1980s ceiling tile. That's the look.
Hey, we got the same thing here, though. I mean,
but you're not showing it. You guys, okay, yeah. See the difference? That's awesome. Hey, it's a pro versus an amateur. That's what's the difference.
It's all good, man. You look good now, and then hang on, I'm gonna do one more thing for you.
Make adjustments. Should I go up a little bit more here? Maybe.
And I just switched your camera there so you're not mirrored
there
too
we go.
much. Yeah, that looks good. Perfect.
There we go.
All right, so hang on one second. So when we come back, we got a couple of things. We're not gonna have a huge amount of time here, but I want to make sure that we cut through these things as lightning speeds, because we haven't talked in a while. So we got some catching up to do. So kind of an overall, update on the housing market, particularly here in West Michigan. That's one of them. The other piece is, the home prices, whether or not it's the good time to buy or sell, right? And you've also got Senior Smooth Move going on right now, which is something that we've been talking about for a while that I think people want to hear about as well. So
yeah, we
are going to try to do as much of this as we can, probably in the context of about 7 minutes.
We can do that.
It's possible.
Yeah, I got a couple.
We got a lot to bite off there, folks. But like I said, Kevin's a pro, and I think we're gonna have a really good conversation here. So a lot of people are wondering about these things right now. Anyway, when it comes to what your house is worth, if you want to move, a lot of people looking at should I move, and the interest rates and all of that. And I think next week we're going to talk with our buddy Dave Galloway about where things are going there. We got a new Fed chair coming in, and everything's heating up. So, it's kind of like all the balls are up in the air. But the good thing is, what I found is no matter the circumstances, you work with somebody like Kevin, he's seen it all. And so he can find a path for you for whatever it is that you're looking to do. That's the winning way, by the way. So, Kevin, hang on one second. We are about 30 seconds, 45 seconds or so away from jumping on the air. And, folks, if in the chat right now, if you have questions for Kevin, go ahead and pop them in so that we can try and get to yours too. Man, I can't promise you that I will. But maybe we can hold him off a little bit just afterwards, after the show, and get some of them answered. But go ahead and pop them in the chat if you have them for him, and we'll try and get to some of those too. And also, don't forget, sharing is caring. If you haven't done it yet today, please help us share. It helps us break the algorithm, get the truth, logic, and common sense out to folks, and cut through the noise. Everybody that shares at the end of the show today, we're going to put you in the drawing, and we'll pull somebody out to win something cool. A t-shirt, a hoodie, a mug, something from inside the Justin store. If you go to justinbarclay.com/store. Here we go.
That's autolaw.com.
Back after it right now on West Michigan Live. Moving into the Memorial Day weekend, our good friend Kevin Yoder, the Senior Smooth Move guy. That's who we're talking to right now. By the way, seniorsmoothmove.com. Kevin's been in the real estate business for years. I thought we'd get a little bit of an update on the markets right now. As there's decades of experience. He's the guy, if you want to buy or sell, no matter what it is, the guy you want to call. He's my buddy, and like I said, he knows the ins and outs. Chances are, no matter what you're looking at, he's seen it before. And that's why he can make things happen for folks. A little bit of magic. Kevin, welcome in. We appreciate it. Good news for some folks in this housing market right now. What about those home values that we're seeing holding for folks? And what are you seeing happening in West Michigan?
Yeah, I always answer this question through one lens, Justin. That's to understand the type of market we're in. So when we talk about markets, people say things like good market, bad market. It's unhelpful and unhealthy. And the reason is because there's really just three markets, and you have to understand what market you're in. You'll understand what advantages you have, and then how to take advantage of those advantages. And so we're in a seller's market, which is navigating into more of a middle market, as opposed to an extreme buyer's market where the buyers have a distinct advantage over the sellers, given the inventory levels will swell. So think about from 2007 to 2013, that 6-year period where the prices topped out in 2006. If you're around in that time, you'll remember what happened. And then the homes were a free fall all the way to the bottom of the market in 2013, then slowly cycling their way back up. And so we went to an extreme seller's market in 2021, slight reset. And then now we're at a place where prices have sort of normalized and interest rates are slightly higher. Obviously, they're not 3% anymore, but people get all worked up about this thing. We're in a seller's market, not an extreme seller's market, and prices are increasing about, we're looking at about 4 or 5% annually, which is pretty normal. And what that does for buyers, though, is it gives them a little bit more room to navigate. And for sellers, the same thing there. And there's a way to do that. And it's kind of I would say, better type of market to navigate than it is that frenzied market of post-COVID.
Kevin Yoder with us right now, seniorsmoothmove.com. And, with the decades of experience in the business, I know that you can answer all kinds of questions, but one I often get, and I think about this too, is if I want to buy a house, but I haven't sold mine or trying to navigate through, I got to sell mine. There's this whole process that kind of, and for me right now, somebody's got a real low interest rate. Boy, I don't know if I want to do anything. I may stay in this house. They may bury me while I'm in this house. But we also see today, President Trump's going to swear in the new Fed chair, and they're talking about lowering those rates. Who knows what happens? We'll talk to our good friend Dave Galloway next week about that. But when I look at whether or not I should buy, sell, how do I do it, and the timing of everything, how does that work? How do you make that? How do you walk that through with people?
Yeah, that's that might be the question. I mean, if you're a seller and you've thought about this, selling my house, buying another one, it might be one of the most stressful things that you need to face. And most folks, we figure about 88 to 90% don't have the capacity to buy the next home and move into it and then sell theirs. So this is something that we need to address, and we have. So the idea is that sellers are feeling trapped. The fear of being homeless between two homes, the fear of settling because they've rushed to buy the next one, and of course the fear of owning two homes at the same time, which is not possible for many. And so we remove this risk. We do it every day. This is something we're doing very regularly on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And number one is the guaranteed sale program. So as we talked about and we advertise on the radio for the last 15 years, is if I don't sell your home in 19 days, I'll buy it. So what that guaranteed sale does, it removes the contingency, meaning you don't have to have a contingent offer on the next home because I already have an offer on yours. The other way, which is it's kind of a safety net clause. It's like a smooth move protection clause that we put into the listing, which means that the seller gets this window of opportunity to go out and find their next home. Plenty of time, by the way, and any offer they get on their listing is contingent upon them finding their next place. I've had that in place right now with 3 different sellers looking to navigate, and they love it. Gives them time, gives them a smooth operation from home A to home B, and no stress. Who needs to stress out about this stuff? We got it covered.
See, that's, I think, one of the biggest things that I see you doing. And speaking of smooth, seniorsmoothmove.com. Kevin, one of the biggest things that is so tough for people, particularly when we're looking at this with our family right now and my parents, and whether it's, assisted living or other issues, you're looking to move out of that home, make sure you preserve all of that equity, do your best. But there's this whole timing thing that plays into it. And I know you've got a heart to help these people because there's a whole generation of folks that are going through this right now. And you're taking all the decades of experience that you have in these markets and getting people's homes sold and doing the work for them and solving those problems, and you're putting to work for these folks right now. Tell us a little bit about that with what you're doing with Senior Smooth.
Yeah, so thanks for asking. We started working with a lot of folks transitioning from their condos or their small homes into the next phase, which is assisted or independent living. And we started to see a lot of stress in that process. And so we put together systems around removing that stress. And we did it so much that we just decided to call it the Senior Smooth Move system, because I think it embodies what we're trying to accomplish here, which is getting rid of time confusion and the fear of selling too low and repair overwhelm and coordination chaos. Like, how do you coordinate the sale and moving into assisted? How do you line that up with when their home is going to be ready? And then managing all their belongings and logistics there. There's a lot going on. We remove the chaos. And this is not just a real estate transaction. These moves are emotional, financial, time sensitive. And then adult children are often overwhelmed and trying to manage everything remotely. That happens a lot. And you know what? Families don't need another agent. They don't. They need a system. That's what this is. It's a senior smooth move system. And the way that we accomplish that is through a transition plan, sell for the most money, and line that up. Full transition coordination, and then getting them into their place in a smooth way, all the way down to helping them unpack, put their stuff in their new house, and then get rid of all the boxes and the bins. I mean, it's a full A to Z process, and they don't need an agent. They need a complete system around it. That's what we put together here with the Senior Smooth Move system.
seniorsmoothmove.com, or call Kevin today. I want you to reach out if you have questions about this, because this is a godsend, especially as I know in the situation I'm in right now with my family, looking at what to do and how you navigate it. 616-303-5671. Whether you're in the scenario or you yourself are looking to help your parents walk through it. 616-303-5671. Or go to seniorsmoothmove.com. Kevin, thank you for everything, always, and the updates. Always appreciate you and your expertise and helping walk us through it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Justin. Appreciate
you. You got it, bro. Absolutely. Have a great weekend, and God bless.
You as well, man.
Back, well, it's not Monday because we're on Memorial Day Monday, so we'll be back Tuesday. Of course, the Memorial Day weekend. Wishing you the best for that. Oh, I should probably mention, too, coming up on Sunday, New Chapel, newchapel.com. I'll be there, and if you want to be there with us, love to have you. 3 different services. New Chapel's on 4 Mile, just off of Alpine, 8:30, 10, and 11:30. And I've got a great message for you, a special guest message there this weekend. Yes, we'll be honoring those folks, celebrating Memorial Day 250 and the anniversary of the founding of this nation. We've got that going on, but I've got something special in my heart I want to share with you as well. We'll get into all of that coming up this weekend at New Chapel. Appreciate you taking the time to be here with us. The fastest hour on radio is flying by, and of course, we've got an after show. The show after the show will hit with you. Coming up next, you can listen live or archived on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you download your podcasts. Make it a great one. God bless.
Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. God is the kingdom, power, and glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
WOOD Grand Rapids, WOOD FM Muskegon. The news is next on Wood Radio.
An iHeart radio station.
Guaranteed human.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You deserve a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from
All right, folks, full speed ahead. The after show, the show after the show, rolling right along into the Memorial Day weekend. Hey, if you are coming, drop a line if you are. Do they pack my boxes, Brian? I do think they do deal with some of that if you need it. I honestly hope we have an economic housing market crash, because that will correct all this crazy price. Hey, we'll talk about this with Dave, but I don't really think the pricing is crazy. I think what you're actually watching happening is the home prices are the fixed piece. It's the dollar value that's changing. And then it's a long conversation to get into, and I know that's maybe not one that necessarily you want to have going into a big holiday weekend, but I wouldn't count anything out, particularly with the way President Trump is moving through his plan right now and the way things are coming together. But there's a lot of variables out there. And And I know that you know folks may have questions about that. So I want to make sure we bring people on to give you as much of those, you know, detailed expert answers as possible. Dave Galloway next week. Again, I don't think we can, you know, overstate this, but Kevin Warsh is being actually being sworn in today. New Fed chair. That's the guy that's Trump's guy going to bring down. You see these interest rates coming down? Things are going to explode in a good way. Let's talk about it. Hang on. Let's get into it. I got to take a quick moment, click a few buttons, and we'll be off and
get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barclay.
After the show, that's why we call it the after show. Never a dull moment, never enough time to get to it all. Make sure that we do. That's why we're doing it now, the after show. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Hey, if you haven't done it yet, click share today. Help us get the word out. Break the algorithm. Cut through the noise. Truth, logic, and common sense, trying to give everyone a daily dose. Thanks to you, we can help spread this thing, this virus we call freedom. Everybody that does going to be thrown into the pot to win something cool. We got tees, hoodies, mugs, all kinds of cool stuff inside the store. JustinBarclay.com/store. Yeah, you can buy stuff in there to help support us if you'd like, but we'd love to just give it to you. Also, big thanks to our good friends, Maha Missy and the team at My Pure Health Solutions, helping you get your body start working again. Get rid of that inflammation, get that metabolism rolling. Your cravings will get quieter. You'll have better energy. You'll sleep like a baby. I do now. I mean, it's crazy. Like, I sleep all the way through the night. It's nuts. I feel so good. Your confidence comes back. A lot of people dropping their medications. Incredible before and afters. Right now, they're running the America Turning 250 sale. 25% off for Justin listeners. Fast results in 20 or 40 days. Women often lose 2 to 3 pant sizes, they tell us, in 40 days. And men drop about 35, 45 pounds in 40 days. So you can get your metabolism back on track, reset your body, and get healthy from the inside out. It is an inside job. Go to healthwithjustin.com. That's healthwithjustin.com to take full advantage of it and make sure you get everything back on track. Because, look, we need you in the fight. I've talked about this at length, but we got to have you. We need you part of this fight with us. And, of course, more folks are jumping in. Got some more good news I got to share with you. The My Pillow Memorial Day mattress sale. You can save 50% off and get free shipping. The My Pillow Memorial Day mattress sale. Select mattresses and use that promo code. Plus, inside the store, mypillow.com/Justin, mystore.com/Justin. There's all kind of great deals on like literally everything. Anything and everything you could think of for the home. I always ask folks, look, if you need something for your house, or even like towels for the beach, or slippers or slides or sandals to go out this summer, go check with Mike first. You're going to help, obviously support Mike, a patriot in the fight, and this program at the same time because we benefit from it. So thank you for your support. Whether you watch, whether you comment, whether you share, whether you listen, or you end up supporting our sponsors, the folks, the partners that make the show possible, we just appreciate you. And I can't say it enough. So that's the thing. I have to tell you. All right. Now, let me get to, should I do some good news? Because I do. I got a few things that I got to make sure that I tick off the list, at least anyway. Some of the stories that are out there right now. I can't help but say that we need more of this. We need more of this. That's all I can say. And I'm blown away by it. There is a bit of it happening right now, but I thought there would be more. America's 250, right? Think back to how things were in 1976. I mean, stark contrast. Remember the Spirit of 76? Well, this is the nostalgia that's now floating around online, particularly X. We showed you Pizza Hut the other day. They're going to bring back the Pizza Hut stores. I think nostalgia is big because people are yearning for better times. This is a commercial from Coke during those times. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Why? I said people watching this stuff, they go, oh gosh, that's America. And the person that posted this made me think it really is true. They said, this seems like a foreign country.
Coke gets life. Everybody wants a little life. Coke gets life. It's everything that makes you living nice. Coca-Cola. Keep the sun shining down on your parade. Coca-Cola. Beat your drum now. Sing my song. Coca-Cola. Moves it along. Coke gets life. Everybody wants a little life. Coke gets life. It's everything that makes you living nice. Coca-Cola. You and me. Reaching for some extra fun.
I'll tell you what I see here. And let me ask you first. When was the last time you saw something like this? When was the last time that you saw something like this? I mean, seriously. It's been years. It's been years. It's incredible. And I think part of what we're watching, I don't even know if it's possible now. If it is, we need a heavy lift from folks like these companies. And I'll tell you why. The unity that you see in the commercial.
We're gonna sing and we're gonna shout.
Now it's obviously a commercial, right? Like, I mean, we know these are actors probably, right? You know, I get it. But they don't even show you this on TV anymore. I mean, it has to be like anti-American to get on TV. And who watches TV anymore? That's a whole nother thing. But like the unity they're experiencing, and they probably experienced as a nation, some of it was because they were shown these things on television. But I think we could use a heavy dose of That's, I mean, it's crazy. But when was the last time we've seen that? Bonnie says it's the infiltration of communism and Marxist ideologies, a very sophisticated orchestra. That's what we're seeing right now. Is it's playing out. Is unfortunately the color revolution that's well underway at this point. Anyway, I had to bring that up because I thought to myself, when was the last time? You watch that, you think, gosh, I mean, just to get back there would be incredible. And I think a lot of Americans they're thirsty for it. They're hungry for it. And now Coke, obviously. That's a whole nother animal. I think they may have seen a bit of a turn, but I'm not really sure yet because we called them Woca-Cola for years. There's not enough red, white, and blue in the marketing right now. I agree with you too. I just haven't seen it. Now there are a couple of cases. In fact, Troy says Mountain Dew cases say American Mountain Dew on it. I've seen that. I've had that. I don't drink as much soda, but I did like a nice diet Mountain Dew every now and then. But let me see if I can show you it says American Dew actually. That's what they say now. This is the America 250 celebration for Mountain Dew. So it's starting to get out there. You see the red, white, and blue? American do. Brian says, going back to 76 means living through Carter again. No, thank you. Yeah. No, thank you. I think we had a bit of taste of that, though, with Biden. I really do. Bruce says, I need a time machine. Yeah, tell me about it. Anyway, look, I want to see more of this. We have an opportunity as a country to experience, that sort of, a little bit of that nostalgia, but also that patriotism this year. And I know it's happening in pockets. I know there are places where it is happening. In fact, I saw this over the weekend. I may have to repost this. This is great. I think this is at a Walmart. Let me make sure. Walmart in Port Charlotte, Florida. So that'll tell you everything you need to know. It's Florida, the free state of Florida. But look at this. This is all at the entrance when you walk in. That's pretty cool. I don't know if it's beer or... Yeah, it looks like it's Miller Lite. But look at that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a sucker for stuff like that. I do love it. It just... It's just missing. And it drives the divide when it goes missing. It drives the divide between people like me and you. People who love this country and yearn for a return to the greatness, at least the recognition of it. And then the idea that we can do even bigger and better things in this country and that we lead the world. That idea is just gone. Well, it's not. It's dormant. It lives inside each of us. We're still living it out, but the media has been big in pushing it. I really do believe that it's still there. And of course, it's like a sleeping, tiger or whatever. You could just wake that thing up and it's ready to go roaring back to life. So, my flags are flying high and proud, Lady Vu says. Amen. I love to see that. I love to see that. Anyway, I had to show you this commercial because I thought to myself, this is a patriotism. Speaking of patriotism, this is going to blow your mind. It might be the most MAGA car company in the world. Who am I talking about and why? I'm talking about Toyota. Now, I know some of you are going to be like, well, that's not, that's a Japanese car company. What are you talking about? Well, it's a good point. But these Japanese cars are made in America. In fact, near my hometown, they make the trucks and a few others. And apparently the CEO of Toyota is a massive MAGA Trump fan. In this picture, you're looking at Akio Toyota is his name, goes full MAGA in star-spangled barbecue slathered F-150 truck and NASCAR-styled charm offensive. That's what they say, according to the automotive news from the Crane folks. In Japan, with a toothy grin, Make America Great Again hat and Trump advanced t-shirt, Toyota hosted a star-spangled barbecued all-American NASCAR spectacle at Fuji Speedway in a new charm offensive aimed not only at motorsports fans and diplomats, but possibly also U.S. tariffs. Anyway, I just thought it was funny to see that. They do have a really good relationship, Trump and this guy. So I thought that was kind of fascinating to see. But at the end of the day, Toyota being the most MAGA company in the, it kind of makes you scratch your head, doesn't it? It's like, wait a minute. Are you kidding me? Somali rep Ilhan Omar is now demanding to be indicted. Folks, I say we give the people what they want. In this case, I say we give her exactly what she's asking for. Add her to the stack of the Somalis that were indicted in Minnesota.
What are your thoughts about J.D. Vance accusing you and saying they're going to indict you, that the DOJ is going to indict you or come after you?
He's been doing that for a while. If they want to indict me, let's see what they've got. So on the floor.
What are your thoughts about J.D. Vance?
They want to indict me. Let's see what they got. Yeah, that's not the language I'd be using on a day like today. Not after everything we've seen. Particularly over the last day or so. Did you see the 15? I mean, they got 15 new indictments. They got that lady that was, and she's just ahead of the snake, folks. I mean, this whole thing is just the beginning. She wasn't the only one. She was not alone. Not in this whole thing. This whole scam, she was not alone. And I guarantee you, when it's all said and done with, I think they gave her like 42 years. Is that what I saw? I think when it's all said and done with, you're going to see some incredible stories coming out of this whole thing. You're going to see some big names involved in it all. I really do. I do believe it. And gosh, not only do I believe it, but boy, oh boy, I am here for it. I am cheering it on. I can't wait to see it. Why? Well, look, when you do some of the things that they've done, and you and I both know, I mean, we're talking about massive, how much money was involved in all of this? I think at this point, we're talking billions. We're talking billions. And we've got massive number of indictments yesterday that came out.
Today, we are announcing criminal charges against 15 defendants in Minnesota for fraud schemes that targeted over $90 million in taxpayer dollars. Let me be clear up front about something. This is not the end of our work in Minnesota. This is not the end of the beginning of our work in Minnesota. This is the beginning of our work in Minnesota. The fraud here in Minnesota is shocking. Our cases today involve 7 different state-managed Medicaid programs that have been systematically pilfered by fraudsters who treated Minnesota-run programs as their personal piggy bank. Today, we are announcing
I cannot wait to see him march these people in. I cannot wait. It is incredible. You are going to see, and just a prediction here. It's not just Minnesota, and of course it's not, because it's California and it's Michigan and it's every single one of them, every state, even red states. We got people somewhere raking in dough that they shouldn't be, taking advantage of the whole system.
Breaking news, a Minnesota judge has just sentenced the mastermind behind the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme, Amy Bach. She just got more than 41 years in prison. The prosecution is asking for a 50-year sentence and her defense about 3 years. So that's somewhere in the middle that they got that, but closer to what obviously the prosecution wanted. The scheme involved the theft of nearly $250 million in COVID funding. That money was meant to feed hungry children. State leaders claim they were unaware of the fraud. Here's what Amy Bach told our Alexis McAdams from jail back in January.
I honestly believe Keith Ellison and Governor Walz need to be held accountable. There needs to be an investigation done. If they weren't aware, that's concerning.
Breaking news, a Minnesota.
Oh, they're going to get her to turn. Trust me, she's going to flip. This is just the beginning. What do they say, Gritter? Drip, drip, flood. Is that what we're watching play out here? Drip, drip, flood. I just can't wait. I really am. We've got to have accountability. And here's why. If we don't, we'll never get rid of this mess. We'll never get the country back on track. Because if people are highly incentivized to do this stuff, in which they are, and there's no decentivization, like there's nothing deterring them from doing it. That's why the voter fraud thing is so big too in those conversations, because again, with the voter fraud, it's like, okay, so what if you get caught? You may get a slap on the wrist, but the reward, massive. Anyway, we've got to see it happen, and it looks like we're starting to see just at least the trickling in of all of this, and I'm here for it. That's all I'm saying. I'm here for it. Spencer Pratt, I don't know about you, but I love watching this guy. This campaign has really turned into something. He gave the perfect answer the other day, as far as I'm concerned. Talking about his political run, his run for mayor. Again, he's not doing this because he wants to be a politician. Spencer sounds like he feels called.
I'm like, okay. Who is your political role model?
Jesus Christ.
Okay, I mean,
wow.
That's what. Yeah,
he was a politician. He had to, he had to go in and.
Are there any modern politicians that you're especially?
I got to roll it back. I got to roll it back because I just want you to see the look on the reporter's face when he says this. And I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna make it full screen. So you could see, you'll actually see the disgust and the disdain in his voice. And in his face. Watch this.
Who is your political role model?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, look at this guy. Oh, man. Oh, he can't stand it. He can't handle it. And then he goes, but seriously. And then Spencer lays it down.
Okay, I mean, that's what. Yeah,
he was a politician. He had to, he had to go in and.
Are there any modern politicians that you're especially studying or drawn to?
No, I'm not a politician. I don't want to be a politician.
Yeah.
I want to be a fighter for the people.
But you've.
So what they're trying to get him to say is, well, I really like Donald Trump, and he's coming and he's disrupted this and that, and they're going to be see, Spencer is MAGA and he's Trump and he's a problem, he's a racist and he's an ist, all the way around. Spencer's saying, I don't want to do this. I'm not a politician, but you people are so horrible. You're so bad. You're so evil. I have to do this. There's no way to save my home. There's no way to save my city unless I jump in and do this.
Mentioned, though, that
Obama, I'm most similar to Obama.
Okay.
And I know the View lady said I don't have a law degree, so I'm going to work on that online in the next, before November, I probably can get one. Do the baby bar.
But as you've pointed out, that, as mayor, you need a lot of advisors and help because it's a giant job in a giant city. And you don't have
Guess what? No, he's got them because they're lining up because they see what he's doing and they love it.
as much managerial experience of a city. And you've said that you've talked with a lot of different potential advisors.
If experience gets you the results that they got in LA, then throw it out the door. I want a toddler running the city.
Who are willing to come on board with you, but don't want to say so publicly because of fears about their own safety. Is there anybody, though, that names that you can give us, or the type of people that you're talking to?
Why do people have to fear for their safety? Is it because Democrats in the media are so insane they've driven this nonsense? Why would anybody fear for their safety? Think about that. Doesn't that say everything?
Get a better sense of what a Pratt administration would actually look like.
Well, first, let's rewind to what Mayor Bass's past experience running a city when she got elected.
Right.
All she ever did was name a post office. So this idea that she came from...
She had been the Speaker of the Assembly, she had run the Community Coalition, and she had been a Congress member and chair of the Congressional Black Caucus.
None of that...
Okay, and...
That connects to managing...
Right, she'd never run a city.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. These people are so bad.
We're doing like, who knows how to yell at the LADWP for having 2 reservoirs empty? I'm going to be better at that than she clearly is.
Yeah.
But everyone will know my team in 2 weeks when I become the mayor, and they won't have to fear retaliation. So, for instance, one of these people, I don't know if you saw Harvey Levin.
He said he talked to somebody, but he wouldn't say who it is.
And
So for
what,
the rest of us...
What was his response about talking to that person?
He said that was an impressive person.
So...
But
I think he's going to win. I think he's got a chance, and I will tell you, I think I think what we're about to see is another big God moment. I'll say that. Some sad news before we get out of here today. Tragic, absolutely, but maybe a reminder for all of us. Kyle Busch, 41, gone far too soon. This just yesterday we got the news. I guess he had something he was battling in the hospital, but I have no idea what it is, and nobody will say. It's really incredible. Maybe they haven't released the details yet, but NASCAR driver, 2-time Cup champ, one of the sport's greatest, NASCAR says, and fiercest drivers, just 41. And the family, the young family, incredible. He just won a race last week. And what I heard him say after he won that race, and the timing of all of this, is just incredible.
A bow in front of the fans that are all on their feet down here at the Monster Mile. And Michael Waltrip said earlier in the race that a confident Kyle Busch is a dangerous Kyle Busch. Your 69th victory in this series, your 5th right here. Why do these moments never get old, Kyle?
Because you never know when the last one is, So I know all too well, unfortunately, with the Cup stuff, but here with the truck stuff right now is it's awesome just to be a part of Spire Motorsports. Thanks to Jeff and Dan and Mr. H for the opportunity. HendrickCars.com. I'm sure it looked great out front leading the race, and it wasn't just Kyle Larson doing it. So feels good to have another Kyle being able to do it and putting ourselves in victory lane. So love coming to Dover. Always one of my favorite places to race, and definitely some managing of the fuel there, managing of the tires there, and it was an interesting, just kind of strategic battle, I guess, from the driver's seat. And, thanks to all the fans. Appreciate everybody for being here at Dover and the Monster Mile for All-Star Weekend. We thank you, and hopefully we have another great O'Reilly race tomorrow and an even better Cup race on Sunday.
It's incredible. You never know when your last one is. I saw the sinus thing, but I just don't know if I buy that. It seems like a stretch. And at 41, far too young. Again, praying for his family. But what a great reminder for all of us this weekend. No matter what we're doing, no matter where you are, soak it up, because it could be your last, and we just don't know. Although I will tell you, I got a great message for you this weekend. And it goes right along with what we're talking about. Some little hope, a little encouragement for you. this weekend at New Chapel on 4 Mile, just off of Alpine. And it's Memorial Day weekend, so we'll honor those. Paid the ultimate sacrifice to make this country so great. As we celebrate the America 250 celebration, which lasts all year long. 3 services, 8:30, 10, and 11:30, newchapel.com. Love to see you there. Make it a great one, folks. God bless.
I'm Dr. Kirk Elliott, founder of Kirk Elliott Precious Metals. After being in the industry for more than a decade, I knew there was a better way. It's an exciting time to invest in gold and silver with the most significant bull market I've ever seen, but please don't overpay for your stuff. At KEPM, we focus on low-cost bullion only, and we don't charge a commission when you sell. We would love to connect with you, so call our office at 720-605-3900
or go to goldwithjustin.com today.
We don't charge
Congratulations to Belle Clochette, a new face,
so call our office at 720-605-3900
of the Freedom Fam for sharing today. Sharing his caring contest. Belle, email me, Justin at justinbarkley.com. We'll let you pick something out of the store, t-shirt, hoodie, mug, or more. And that way you can enjoy your weekend. America 250 gear is on the way as well. Appreciate you all. God bless.